Hey, what's up everyone? Shane here with ROA Off-Road. Today I'm going to talk about the RV industry in 2024, the quality, and how I just went to an RV show and I was kind of disgusted. Today is another campfire rant. Unfortunately, I'm not in front of a campfire today, but it is what it is. That will be coming soon. But today, recently, I just got back from a camping trip with the MDC crew out from Australia. And then the following week, I went out to an RV show. They were there actually showcasing some product, and I went up to check it out. And then I decided to spend the day walking around and looking at the show. And honestly, I had not been to an RV show for a couple of years, just because I'm not really interested in them. We go to the OVERLAND shows every year, and that's where some of the best stuff is. And our trailers are very premium, very quality, very high end. And so I was like, hey, I should go walk around and see what's new, is because sometimes you find some cool little features and things that the new manufacturers are doing. I follow this guy called Josh, the RV nerd. If you haven't watched him on YouTube, he's really good, and he's always bringing out, a lot of information. And he talked about some stuff that leaked from one of the big manufacturers, and the CEO said the quality needs to increase, and if it doesn't, he's gonna start closing plants and firing people. So hopefully the RV industry is getting better. Hopefully the quality overall is going to increase. So I went to the show and I didn't see the quality getting better. I didn't see it increasing. I was actually very, very disappointed. There were a few trailers that I walked into and I thought, that's pretty nice. A Lance truck camper, I walked into one of those, and overall, it's still like, there's a lot of things about it that are pretty cheap RV still. But overall, I was like, yeah, there's some cool things that they're doing in this. Some good use of space. It's a truck camper, so they're pretty good at making things tight. It was a 4-season, so they had the Truma and they ducted it all over. I thought it was actually pretty impressive. I also went to the Oliver campers. I wasn't expecting to see Oliver campers at the show, but they were there, and Oliver campers are pretty cool. Not really off-road. We've actually had Oliver camper owners trade in their Oliver to buy a trailer from us because they wanted something that was more off-road capable and off-grid. Now they have gotten more off-grid capable, and the quality is really thoughtful design. But Olivers are gonna be north of $100,000 nowadays. And so it's similar to what we're selling, right? Only our stuff is very rugged, very off-road and off-grid capable. The next thing that I saw that was decent quality was a Redwood. And this thing cost, I think the MSRP on it was $210 or $230. Crazy expensive, right? I walked into it and it was beautiful. It was a full body paint, $200,000+ so for this thing. The rest of the stuff at the show was, I don't want to be mean, but most of it was junk. I was so disappointed. I used to sell a lot of fifth wheels in the past. I used to sell a lot of Montanas. Huge fan of Montanas in the past, right? But I'm talking like pre-recession. That's 2008. And as I was kind of going through, it was bringing a lot of flood of memories. And I remember I used to say, hey, if you're looking for a used fifth wheel, buy 2007 or older, because that's where the quality was. And after 2008, once the recession hit, the people that survived, they skimped and they started cutting back costs and things got pretty cheap. And post-recession, we were all hoping that the quality would come back. And honestly, unfortunately, it really hasn't. It's just like the hinges, the latches, the everything about it. Like you're just going through things and things felt flimsy. This show must have had in between 500 and 1,000 units. And the only thing that I walked out and I was completely impressed with was the Redwood that cost over $200,000 and the Olivers. That was it. The Lance, I'll give the Lance. The Lance was pretty cool. And then the rest of the stuff, it was just really unfortunate. The quality has just really gone downhill. I wish and I want to see the RV industry change. I want to see the RV industry as a whole get better quality. Obviously, like if you want good quality fifth wheels, you're going to be paying north of $150,000, like the Redwood, right? $150,000 to $200 something thousand. If you want a Montana for 70 to 80, 90, you have to expect certain quality because these things are like houses on wheels and they can't make them perfect throughout. Otherwise, you're going to be spending high dollar. Now, our trailers, right? Like our off-road trailers, night and day. Like there's nothing at that show that even compared remotely close to the cabinetry, the quality of the cabinetry, the quality of like the chassis, the battery systems, the solar systems. I was going through like some of the units that were like supposedly off-grid, and it was laughable. The amount of solar that they were putting on them, the amount of batteries they were putting on them. It was pretty laughable. Like the latches, the hinges, those are some of the things that I always like to point out to people. I'm like, feel the cabinetry, touch the cabinetry, knock on the cabinetry. And sometimes you'll like get in some of these trailers, and this is what's really hard, is if you don't have a good eye, you don't know what you're looking for, you'll step into some of these trailers, and I call it eye candy. It looks really good, it looks delicious even. But the second you go and start knocking on the cabinets, they're just flimsy, and you feel like you could, some of these cabinets, you could literally punch a hole in the cabinet and it wouldn't hurt your hand that much, because the particle board is so thin that it's just not, there's no structural integrity in the cabinets. Outside of knocking, on the cabinets, look at the actual hinges and look at the latches that hold the cabinet doors shut. They have these like roller latches, and those latches are like 90 cents at Home Depot, and that's retail, right? And this is one of the things that I was pointing out to somebody when I was there, and I was saying, hey, the difference between our off-road trailers is, look at this latch. This latch right here is 90 cents retail. The latch that you're gonna see on most of our off-road trailers, like the Roamer one or the MDC, the locking latches, those latches are gonna range anywhere from 10 to 15 or so dollars retail. I'm talking in retail, not wholesale cost. But do the math. If it's 90 cents retail, it's a lot less wholesale for these manufacturers. And I point out all the cabinets. I'm like, look at that. $1, $2, $3, $4. Like, they have like 30 cabinets in here, it's $30. Well, you do 30 times 10 to $15, it's 10 to 15 times the cost. So you really start knocking out all of these little teeny details, and you'll start seeing, oh wow, that's where the cost comes in. A lot of things, the underbelly, I'd get under the underbelly. It's really crazy. They used to use a corrugated plastic material, and it was hard. And I got under some of these, and I started pointing out, they're using some like mesh, corrugated mesh material. So it's not even plastic. I don't know if it's better for insulation. I didn't understand what was going on there. The other thing that I just noticed is just a lot of the trim. Look at the trim work, like lots of staples. I always like to do exterior walls. I like to push on the exterior walls to see what they're made of, because sometimes you can just push them. Don't push them too hard, because they might break. They legitimately might break. So you got to be careful. I don't want you to like break the trailer, and then they might make you buy that, $12,000 35-foot trailer, right? But it's funny. I was with one of the Australians. I was with the owner of MDC, and he was just like, wow, things here are so cheap, right? And I'm like, yeah, but look at it. Like, and I would like push on the wall, and I'd almost push it like 3 inches in, and it would pop back out. And I was like, look, it's all just stapled. It's so cheap. And he was like, okay. And we were like opening the cabinets, and you could see like all of like the staples around it. It was just really, really poor built. You could tell. And I was like pointing out the caulk lines and how it was just all just a mess. But then again, you're only paying $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 for these trailers. That's a lot of money. But unfortunately, your trailers are going to fall apart when you pay that much money for them. Suspension systems on them were all terrible. They're all just the old-fashioned leaf springs or some torsion axles. I don't think I saw anything with independent A-arm, let alone airbag systems. There were some nicer, some of the fifth wheels have some nicer suspension systems, some of the more ride suspensions, but there you have it. Went to the RV show, was sorely disappointed in it. Did want to point out some tips for you to kind of look at RVs when you're looking through them, and maybe that will like help you see the value and the quality out of the trailers that we're selling versus some of those trailers. And like I said, it can be deceiving, because at first you walk in and everything does look kind of flashy and nice, but when you really start pushing up against things and opening cabinets, lifting up beds, you start to see where things are really, really poorly built and just cheap. You can see where they cut corners on a lot of things. So beware and just look and be thorough when you're looking at the trailers. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, if you like this video, subscribe, share it with somebody. Go and check out our other rants. We're always coming up with new things, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.